Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. So today we are making another Gilmore Girls video, and in case you don't already know, I am in the middle of making a Gilmore Girls save file on my channel. So if you're interested in checking out videos of me creating more Gilmore Girls characters or builds, I've got loads of them and I'll link them in the video and down in the description, so check them out if you're interested. But today we are making three characters in CAS. We are making Sookie, her husband Jackson, and Michel from the show, and I'm super excited because Michel in particular is one of my all-time favourite Gilmore Girls characters. He is just so sassy and has got so much attitude. Like, I feel like there's quite a few strong sassy characters in the show, and if you can't tell already from my channel name, I do appreciate a bit of sass. But yeah, I feel like the only person that really tops him in terms of sassiness is perhaps Emily, or maybe Paris. Oh my god, Paris, I love her. So I can't wait to make either of those two characters as well, because I've not done them yet. But yeah, Michel, I'll talk about him later, but we'll start with Sookie for now. So Sookie is the best friend of the main character Lorelai in the show, and she works as the chef in the hotel that they both work at. So I gave her the Master Chef aspiration because I thought that would make sense, and then I also gave her the traits childish, perfectionist, and cheerful. And I kind of regret not giving her the clumsy trait instead of cheerful, because I feel like they played on her clumsiness quite a lot in the first few seasons. In particular, they sort of show her crashing around in the kitchen, and all of the other chefs that she works with are like trying to prevent major hazards from happening as she just walks casually through the kitchen, and she doesn't even notice. Like, they're just putting out fires and preventing pans from falling everywhere and things like that. But they sort of play that down throughout the later series. They don't really play on her clumsiness that much, so I think that's why I didn't think of the trait immediately. But yeah, definitely when I come back to putting the save file together, I think I definitely will add the clumsy trait in for her. And then I also gave her the perfectionist trait because she is definitely a major control freak. Like, she is obsessed with getting things perfect in terms of her cooking, which, you know, is a completely admirable trait, not bad at all. But that does take a turn. For example, in the episode where she goes on maternity leave and she's no longer allowed to work in the kitchen, someone has to take over her as head chef. She can't stand it at all. She's super paranoid about how well things are going in the kitchen that she ends up hiding in one of the hotel rooms to test the food and make sure that it's okay. So yeah, she definitely is a control freak, but so are some of the best of people. I mean, I definitely am, so no criticism there to Sookie. We love her. And then one of my other favourite scenes with Sookie in it that I thought of when I was planning this video was when Sookie and Jackson celebrate Thanksgiving, I think it is, and Jackson, who is her husband by the way, ends up deciding that he's going to cook the Thanksgiving dinner with the turkey for Sookie, so she doesn't have to stress about it, because obviously it's a big stressful thing to do, and she normally works as a chef, so he thought it would be a sweet thing to do for him to take the stress off and she can just relax on this holiday. But knowing Sookie, that is not what she wants at all. She wants to control the dinner, she wants it to be perfect, and Jackson ends up deep frying this turkey on Thanksgiving. So she is understandably quite annoyed, and she ends up just getting absolutely drunk, like and it's just so funny to watch because she's normally such a sweet and innocent person, and she just like goes off on one completely. So that's one of my favourite episodes. And then she also has some stellar moments when she gets pregnant in a couple of episodes, and she goes a bit mad when she's pregnant basically. So in one pregnancy she ends up getting really annoyed at this celebrity Norman Mailer. I mean, I've never heard of him, but I'm sure he's half famous, for only coming into the hotel restaurant and drinking iced tea at lunchtime while he gets interviewed, and she gets super annoyed at him for doing this. She basically shouts at him and throws a massive hissy fit in front of him, which is not very professional of her, but she is pregnant, bless her, so we'll forgive her. And then in another episode, her and Lorelai start a catering company together. They basically end up catering and managing a party for some kid's birthday party, and Sookie cooks some ridiculous food that only adults would be interested in, and she basically breaks down because she thinks she's going to be a bad parent. So those two are also some classic Sookie moments that I thought I would include in this video. But now we're going on to making Jackson, who, like I said, is Sookie's husband in the show, and I absolutely adore Jackson. I think he's such a sweetie. He's so kind-hearted but like goofy and sweet, and I just love him, and also low-key fancy him a little bit. Like I don't think he's supposed to be a conventionally attractive person or character, but I don't know, there's just something about him in the first few seasons where he has me. He's just so sweet, and I love their first date episode. That is like the sweetest and also most funny episode ever, because they end up going on a double date for their first date with Lorelai, who's obviously Sookie's friend, and then Rune, who's Jackson's cousin. And oh my god, that is one of my favourite episodes, because let's be honest, Lorelai is totally out of Rune's league, like 100%, but Rune was like super offended that Jackson had set him up with Lorelai because he's short and Lorelai's really tall, and he's so rude to Lorelai throughout the date. He basically just ignores her and insults her behind her back, which she overhears. So that was hilarious in itself. But yeah, Sookie and Jackson together are just the absolute sweetest. And in terms of aspiration, I gave him the gardening aspiration because he is a produce farmer and he provides produce for the hotel where Lorelai and Sookie work. So that's how they know each other basically, because obviously she's the chef and he produces the vegetables, and there's a lot of banter in the kitchen about whether or not his peaches are any good. And I remember a scene in particular where Sookie ends up rolling a peach on the floor to test whether it's watery or not. Again, if you don't watch the show, you may not fully understand the type of humour. It's ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous, I think is the best way of describing it. But yes, my other favourite Jackson moment is when he stays over at Sookie's house and Lorelai and Rory's house has termites or something like that. So they end up having a sleepover at Sookie's house, but Jackson's there and he's like hiding in the cupboard because he's embarrassed about his pajamas. I think that's how it happens. I can't remember exactly the details, but yeah, he comes out and he's got these pajamas which have pictures of him in his wrestling uniform from high school. And it's so ridiculous. Like, if you don't watch the show, you'll be like, what the hell is she on about? But it's just so funny. But yeah, that's one of my favourite Jackson moments. I found him super difficult to make in The Sims, and I don't think he looks like him very much at all. I think at the minute in particular, he looks a little bit like Benedict Cumberbatch, who doesn't look like the actor who plays Jackson whatsoever. But I do go back and fix them a tiny bit later on in the video. But yeah, if you have any tips for how to make him look more like Jackson, please do comment them down below, because I really struggled with him, but I hope you like him. I did my best. Let me know what you think. And then the next character that I make is obviously Michel, and he is, oh my god, he is definitely one of my favourite characters. In terms of what I gave him for aspiration and traits, I gave him the soulmate aspiration. It was quite difficult to pick an aspiration for Michel because he's always going on about dating and he's always trying to like lose weight. That's one of his things. I think he does want a soulmate. I think he does try, and throughout the show there's very little that he actually cares about. Other than he does end up revealing his vulnerable side in terms of being friends with Lorelai. He does appreciate their friendship, although he doesn't let her know that on a daily basis. But yeah, the only other things that he lets people know that he cares about really are his chow chows. He's got 2 chow chows. He loves Celine Dion. He's obsessed with Celine, which, you know, fair enough, she's a goddess. And and then losing weight, he cares about his appearance, and dating. He does occasionally mention trying to find a partner several times throughout the show, and actually throughout the TV series, I think he's supposed to be straight in the TV series, or maybe bisexual, because I think they do mention him dating women in the series. I mean, Rory makes a joke about telling the ladies that he's a stud, and then but then in the reunion he's got a male partner, so I don't know if he's supposed to be bi bi or gay and maybe just closeted throughout the show, because he doesn't have any partner throughout the show at all. So yeah, let me know what you think of his sexuality down below. What do you think he is, bi or gay? But I gave him the traits of being gloomy, hates children and mean, and they basically just sum him up. I chose gloomy in particular because of the ennui episode. Like, that is one of my favourite Michel quotes, is ennui, when he's feeling down and blue. I think it's a French word, and if I haven't said it already, Michel is supposed to be French, and he's got like the worst French accent ever in the history of TV series, but we love him anyway. It's just what makes him him. So yeah, the ennui episode, I can't actually remember what happens in that, but I just remember loving it. And he also hates children because when, I can't remember which episode it is either, it's either when the inn burns down or the maze, and he's got to babysit children for some reason, or like the children are just have nothing to do, so they're constantly annoying Michel by, you know, trying to get his attention and get him to play games with them and stuff like that, and Michel is just being super rude and sassy to them, and they just think it's hilarious and want to play with him more. So he's quite open about how much he hates children. And then the other thing I thought of in relation to this trait was when he was babysitting for Sookie and Jackson, and he really doesn't like babies, but he invented the game Baby Crepe because he's French, obviously, so crepes are French pancakes. I think this game involves him rolling the baby up in a blanket and then pulling the blanket so the baby moves or something like that, but he ends up somehow managing to push the baby under the bed. And he gets stuck under the bed, so he has to ring up Lorelai and get her to help. And he's okay, the baby's not harmed in any way, he just falls asleep under the bed and it just stays there for a long period of time. But Michel has a massive breakdown because obviously he's not very good with babies, and the only reason why he was babysitting to begin with was so that they didn't hate him, I think. I can't remember, he just wanted attention because he was having one of his gloomy moments. But yes, honestly, Michel, he has some of the best lines in the show. He's so offensive, and basically the overall concept of him is that he is the person who works at the front desk of the hotel, but he also has the worst customer service skills in the world. So like I said, he's terrible to the children who come to the inn, but also he's just so sassy and rude to any customer, but they either don't understand him because of his French accent, or they just don't get him because he's so openly rude, they think he's joking or something like that. But yeah, he is hilarious. Lots of love for Michel here on this channel. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about the characters as I made them in The Sims. I hope you think they're accurate as well. I found Jackson and Michel particularly difficult to do, but I think Sookie turned out really well. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you liked it, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye guys!